Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, welcome to the weekend. We're going to be talking about bumping up your prestige because there's been some additions. Now, this was added in a little while ago, probably about like a week ago, I think. I'll go with a week ago. And that is the Glory Store and Radiance update and the impact and the importance this has for free-to-play players looking to gain advantage in raising their prestige up. And we're going to talk about Statcast first. We're also going to be talking about ranking up champions, so kind of a double whammy, and also bringing in that amazing prestige breakdown in that spreadsheet which went around, I think, last month in the Reddit. So we're going to have a look at that, a link in the description, but let's get into it. So beginning with Statcasts and MCOC, which is what you can do. These are my current Statcasts at the moment. This is one of the bigger or more important focus points for a lot of players, especially if you're free to play, to gain some advantage in raising up your prestige. With prestige being such a key push and meta this particular last 2-3 months, I've definitely gone up by 1,000. I think it's just about 1,000, maybe a little bit less. When it comes to my prestige, I'm up to 26,000 at the moment, and I need to do more. And there's stuff that I've been sitting on for a while, like rank ups and other stuff. But there's always a bone of contention of like, why am I ranking up certain champions? Why am I making sure that my relics are a focus? Well, Kabam said this. This is a sad situation when obviously the developer kind of wants to go in a direction, which of course puts a pressure on free to play as well as many other players as well on where you go. If you want new statcasts and relics for that, you're going to have to go to things like battlegrounds or buy with currency in certain things like not the Radiant store. I don't know why I'm there. Battleground store where there's some there. I think it's the lower ones, isn't it? It's just there was 6 stars here. No, there we go. There's the 6-star relics and, of course, the 5-star relics. Now, if you've got those, fine. But then you have to do battlegrounds in general to go and get some of the benefit of the Statcast relics. And, of course, they come in waves. We've seen that this week that we have got waves of them you can access. So you can see they're the various different types, wave 1, wave 2, whatever it is. And, of course, in game at the moment, there is an event that you can hopefully get access to 7 stars, as I've got 9 new ones and 1 duplicate and no 7 stars. But at least I've got a 6-star free from it. And these are free. Appetite for contest is where you're getting some free shards, and it was a bit of a shot in the dark to say I could pick up a 7-star relic, but those would be great, especially as a free-to-play player myself. So I've gone slightly off of a tangent, apologies. Back onto the topic of additions. Tier 3 class alloy fragment crystals and Tier 4 basic alloys. This is, I think it's now Wednesday of last week, because when they were put in, and the week before, and we've had a good chunk of that as well. And it's been difficult to spend your glory on them because they do cost a lot. If we ramp up here, I don't have much glory left over, and that's because I prioritize my spend in a different fashion with it. And I think actually this does go, no, it does go Monday to Monday. I was thinking it was a different way. I can't remember what I've actually bought all my glory with. That's right, Tier 1 Celestial Alloy I needed at the time, but I do need to next cycle when the AQ cycle ends. I do need to buy more of these because they're important. They're so darn important. Same thing with Tier 4 Basic Alloy in its full form. And this is based on the Valiant-based player. The same thing with the Radiance store. And of course, this currency is I have to treat this currency like it's gold. Like it's literally gold dust, so to speak. Not the wrestler, but not Dustin Rhodes. But the champion, what I need is this Tier 3 Alloy Crystal. And I am still thinking about when I buy this because, again, it's important. You're getting as much of that as possible to therefore bump up your relics. For knowledge purposes, forgot what that again, knowledge purposes, this is something that is used for 7-star relics, Statcast relics, that is, Statcast in general, to be brought up to rank 2, right? Anything further than that, no. You need Tier 5 Basic Alloy. So it's Tier 4 Basic Alloy and Tier 3 Class Alloy at the same time. For the 6 stars, however, you do need to have, in abundance, the Tier 3 Tech Alloy and Tier 4 Basic Alloy in order to make this progression. Now, what have we said? Why is this important for free to play? Well, it's the first time in the last 2 weeks Kabam have actually put it in, and this is probably something you'll find that you can actually gain access to. Now, if Kabam could just up the volume of stuff that you get from the Mysterium Trader's Outpost, thumbs up. But till then, they aren't doing it. So this is why it's a focus for a lot of free-to-play players. This is your chance now to gain access and bump up your statcast, therefore bumping up your prestige as a result. So what's the knock-on effect to this, or what's the importance about this? Well, it's pressure. The more that Kabam are adding this stuff to like Glory Store and Radiance, it does mean that you'll have to be a little bit more involved with stuff like Battlegrounds. Next month is a Battlegrounds season that is centered around celebrating, I think it's like another birthday of it. Not that I don't think people care that much about Battlegrounds, and that's another topic for another video. But if you're willing to next month be more competitive and Kabam give out more free stuff, which I think they will do, this could be an opportunity for you to pick up some nice stuff, bump up your prestige, or buy the items to bump up your prestige. The same way we're getting Radiance at the same time. I would also say and stipulate to people, look at your current status around your alliance. And, you know, I'm happy with what our alliance does with the amount of Radiance. And that is something, you know, the stuff that you get from the, is it honor rewards? No, it's map rewards, rank rewards, that's it. The volume of Radiance you pick up as to how you invest that into what you get back. Again, very important. And Kabam as well will reduce down the prices of things. Like the depreciation has been seen already. Kabam this month brought down the prices of some things under the Radiance store and brought new items in. Now that's going to continue. So by the end of the year, depending on how much Radiance you have, you could look to get better value from spend to pick up. So that could be a key kind of like component to you raising it with prestige as well. I've always said this before, don't go completely mad with spending all your Radiance. There are some things personally I want to get, and I'll probably be doing another video later on down the line about why I decided to get the extra mastery point, or looking into the worth of getting the mastery point. But again, similar principle. I have on my person 332,000 Radiance. Yes, I've got a cap of 600k, but it's budgeting that. That I feel like I'm like IRL home, where I'm like budgeting money, like Radiance coming in and like what's going out, and trying to like balance the books on what's in, what's new, what will devalue, what will depreciate. Is it going to be worth it in the next 2 months? Because I will lose out 20,000 to 50,000 Radiance by committing to buying some of these various things here. And it's like, why did I do that? There are some important things as well. Like I do think the 7-star Deathless piece is some great Deathless champions. And of course, things like the Abyss Nexus Crystal Selector, when players are looking to get a specific champion or get a better shot at a champion. That doesn't involve you spending all your units on selectors to get 6-star versions and 7-star versions of champions. So what do I recommend? Well, the price of a tier 3 alloy crystal isn't ridiculous on the Radiant side. It kind of is when it comes to the Glory side. If you do grab this, I would say go all in. Grabbing as many of this as possible, that's not overstretching your budget. Because look, if you're getting 30,000 Radiance on average per week, let's just say, then that's good, but it's not good at the same time, because you're losing a lot of Radiance, but you are gaining fully formed tier 3 ally. Like, here's a good example. I have to get this in any case. I'm going to budget about, let's go 32k right there. I am going to open that up and see what I get. Now, Kabam actually have this as like a shard-based thing, which again, very unusual. But just like straight popping these open, look, I need to get as many as possible for ranking up these relics under my relic section. Now, I don't think that's actually given me anything to work with, but it's my starter. Like I did some the other week with Glory, and that's of course with Radiance. But the more that I get, I'm like, okay, well, I'll always need just a little bit more. And of course, needing a little bit more, I'm like, okay, well, how close am I to forming something? Am I not? What will I need more of? But also, if I've got a certain amount of fragments presented by the Glory Store version, then at least what I can do is top up. So here's the example here. If I go to my alloy section and then go down to my tier 3, or filter by my tier 3. And as you can say right here, like, okay, well, I'm close in certain areas. And I'm like, if I get more, say, tech, which I've got another 1,400 fragments to do, then I can select that. And if selectors come by, and I would recommend that, again, another thing to recommend is when it comes to Cyber Weekend, when you come to whether you're a spender or not a spender, if there is a selector on, then select, say, 50% into, or 20% or 25% or 10% into the one that you're going to form. And that is something as well, just focus on that when it comes to Cyber Weekend and Banquet event as well. Ramp them up, your tier 3 alloys. If there's tier 4 class, yeah, okay. Tier 5 basic comes in, yeah, okay. But just go and get them, use that. Use that Glory Store and Radiance in order to make the gains of your Statcast, therefore getting yourself more powerful Statcasts, relics, and other things. So yeah, make sure to do that. Oh, and I forgot to say, yeah, and the tier 4 basic alloy as well, and as well what drops in the event quest, because that's the other place to go and get things. It's like Elder difficulty of this quest actually has some of the items that you're going to need, whether it's tier 1 Celestial Alloy. Yeah, there's tier 2 that helps out the lower ones get ramped up and ranked up. There's also 7-star Statcast relics as well, those shards. Look, it's all important, a part of the bigger churn of things. Classic difficulty have anything? Maybe. I don't know. And of course, you're going to get higher prestige. So the more you re-inject into your roster, you're able to make the climb. And hopefully by the end of it, you're up to some crazy places. But that's going to take time. It's not going to be something this year for free-to-play players. It's going to take some time. And of course, if you're a spender, then you're going to get access to some very nice and spicy things. So I think a similar thing can be said for the rank up side of things. And this particular spreadsheet has been a great help to a lot of players. It does present some issues when it comes to focus of rank ups. Now, getting rank up resources, we'll briefly touch upon, but I think a lot of people know where to go for it. I think Statcast stuff that's been updated is incredibly relevant and incredibly good, but you are going to be chasing champions that are going to be high prestige. Now, in most cases, there's going to be a load of champions that work in attack and defense, or just in attack, or just in defense. And there's going to be other champions you can only get if you spend a bit of money in order to get them. What's the example of that? Lumatrix. Lumatrix is down here as an option. And good enough prestige, but it's not something that you can get as a 7-star without having to spend a bit of money, or being incredibly skilled and competitive, which requires a lot of time as well in order to climb up the top ends of things like battleground seasons, which, you know, is a hard slog and a lot of work. However, there are other champions that you might be like, your choice and preparation and structure changes and shifts. Mine is a good example. I've said in the past, I've been trying to focus in on creating a strong battle deck, but it's not been possible because of this change. I was like, okay, great. I had like a long list of champions, a structure, a plan, and I had to throw that out the window because I had to focus on building up prestige. Because again, it's the churn of trying to get more rewards, trying to not sacrifice my plans and my defensive build for things, and trying to weave those in together that work. And yes, they do work, because I'm like, okay, I will bring in Onslaught, rank up. As a 7-star to rank 4. Yeah, it works. Shathra, rank 3. Yeah, again, works. There are a lot of champions that work, but I have to push some of those champions further where I might have wanted to take those resources and reapply them to different areas. Effectively, the TLDR to this is just do everything in game as much as you can, and just like look at this list from time to time as well and go, yeah, that's a good champion. I can use it as an attack and defense. Like my next focus is Baron Zemo and Okoye to get up to rank 4 as a 7-star. But that's going to take time. Photon as well was recently rank 4 as a 7-star. Prowler is a rank 3, needs to be bumped up to rank 4. Negasonic Teenage Warhead, rank 3, is going to go to rank 4. Bullseye, currently rank 3, need to push to a rank 4. See, structure, pattern, create a plan. That's one thing that I would kind of recommend to any players. So with those champions in mind of the top options, I would say about acquisition, use those stores that we mentioned in order to acquire. Save the units and do dailies. I know this game is a slog. I know it's grindy. I totally agree. Say that countless times to Kabam and videos about Kabam as well. So like we all know, and Kabam needs to save us time going into 2026, especially if they're forcing this agenda about account growth, in a width way, in a roster development, in 7 stars rank 4, in prestige building. That is a real tough one. So from a going into Traders Outpost, grab what you can that's applicable, and that requires some participation in side quests and main quests. Make sure to do the daily quests and things like that. Radiant Store, if you do get an option of spending something, go for what it's going to be forming. So if you find it difficult to get fragments in certain things like tier 7 basics, tier 6 basics, or whatever, look to how you can form. And if you can form a catalyst, it might take a bit of time, but you might be able to do it that way. Less about, and this is again another tough one, you might be like, where do I draw the line on new champion acquisition to prestige building versus focusing on rank up materials? And that's something you're going to have to make this hard choice on your units, providing you can keep them and not spend them on RNG items within game like shards or whatever, and you can hold them back for things like Cyber Weekend. You could therefore switch out your focus and go, well, I'll take my Radiance and spend that on shards, Titan Crystal, 7-star shards, whatever, and same thing with trophy tokens. Or you then you go, well, the units are then saved for things like Cyber Weekend and sales. Or you flip it and go, units will be for, I don't know, shard-based stuff that comes into game, deals or whatever, and maybe grabbing the questing deals, like story mode deal, possibly, but I find them a bit tedious nowadays because they haven't changed much over the course of the year, and make a decision on where they go. Or you are being like me, you're being as shrewd as possible and taking and frugal as possible by taking the units and not spending them at all, and spending them on things like the banquet event if it's good, or it's going to be about Cyber Weekend as the main focus, and you're all in on rank up materials, whether it be things like tier 7 basics in here, beyond things that are going to be important to you to ramp up. Signature stones as well. That's another big thing about Radiance, which I've been doing. This is what I've been doing a bit of from time to time to kind of up my signature levels of champions, again, to help out the prestige elements, but it is on the rank a bit more, the rank 4. And the same thing with it elsewhere. Like, it's not just that. It's like, it's the glory store. Like, what am I focusing on? Like, it needs to be on Statcast ramping up, or it's going to be something about, okay, tier 7 basics have come in here. I think at some point of fragments. Yeah. To me, that's not enough, right? I'd rather go and ramp up my Statcast first and then return back in 6 months and go, let's reprioritize and let's refocus. But it's down to you how you feel you want to take this on and build your prestige. But these are important things that are being added in to the Glory Store and Radiant Store, and how these impact, and are important to consider what you've prioritized and what you focus in the rank up. This video has probably gone on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but thanks to those that support and check out the content. A bit of a food for thought weekend video and a guide on where to go. Anyway, that's it. That's me done. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.